Times have changed.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. Amma ba'd. This book is called Tajalliyat-e-Safdar, written by a scholar who turned from Salafiyat to Hanafiyat. He has mentioned over here on from page 50 to about how many pages? 10 pages. In fact, 17 pages. He has written in these 17 pages the details of why and how he changed from Salafiyat to Hanafiyat. He used to go to a Salafi madrasa, and the ustad used to teach them a hadith from Bulugh al-Maram, and then moving on to Nasai Sharif. And he says our ustad used to tell us that hadith is only with the Ahl Hadith, and Hanafis have no hadith. They are people of Rai, they are Ahlul Rai. They only do qiyas all the time to derive masail. He used to take out some masail from the books of Hanafis and make fun and mockery at them. And we would also laugh aloud. We would say, Toba, Toba, Toba. If the other religions would find out these masail, what would they say? The Hindus and Sikhs and the Christians wouldn't have these type of masail in their books, and Hanfis have written these masail in their books. And in this way, we would be prepared. He would send us out around the town, various masajid in the town. We would go and we would have a few youngsters with us, and then confront a Maulvi and ask him, where is this hadith? Why don't you practice on this hadith? And the person, sometimes he would just keep quiet or say something, and then we would shout aloud, look what type of Maulvi is this? He can't provide a hadith for this, and he doesn't have a hadith for that. He says our ustad had taught us 6 points in confronting the Hanafis. First was that when you meet a Hanafi, ask him the dalil for some masala. For example, give me a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said after 100 years, don't do my taqleed will be mansukh, abrogated, and do taqleed of Abu Hanifa. He won't be able to provide a hadith. And then you can shout aloud, look, I asked him a hadith and he couldn't provide it. Hazrat Maulana says that this is easy. This could be done by a small child as well. You can go to any medical store and ask for a medicine and say, oh, give me a hadith which says that you should take this medicine. He won't be able to provide a hadith. You go out and then scream as loud as you can. So this was taught to us, that for everything you should ask for hadith. And where is it in the hadith? Anybody can ask this. And I can understand this because I've just been for Umrah, and we went to Masjid Aisha to start off our ihram, and we were returning in a minibus. And the driver was a young kid. I don't know what his habits were, but he was one of those kids who were not on the right track. It seemed like he was doing something wrong. And he was just jumping about, and he had his friend collecting the money for everyone. And he said something. So there was an elderly Arab in the bus, and he gave him some advice that, look, don't do this, behave yourself, drive properly. And he started screaming, and he said, no, what I'm doing is right, and this is right. And where is it in the Quran and Hadith that you can't do this? And then at one place when we stopped at the traffic light, he literally sort of, jumped behind in the right into the face of the old man, and he said, Had dalil min al-Quran was sunnah, had dalil min al-Quran was sunnah, ana la aqbal dalil illa min al-Quran was sunnah. So anyone can say this, give me a dalil, give me a dalil. So you scream as loud as you can for a dalil. When they can't provide a dalil, you have won the argument. Number 2, if say, for example, you were caught in a trap and they ask you for a dalil that you are doing this. Where is it in the Quran and the Hadith that you can do this? You are wearing a tie, you are wearing a shirt, you are wearing a blazer. Where is it in the Quran that Hadith that you can wear a tie? Then if you get stuck in this manner, he would teach us that you should say that where in the Quran does it say that you can't wear this? And scream as loud as you can. I'm asking you for a dalil. Where does it say, where is it prohibited? Give me a dalil for this prohibition. That you can't do this, you can't wear this. And he won't be able to give you a dalil for this prohibition. Then you have won the argument. That look, I asked him for a dalil from the Quran and Sunnah that you can't wear a tie or you can't wear this. And he couldn't provide a dalil. And you've won it. And number 3, if you get stuck somewhere and that person does bring a hadith, that oh, there is a hadith in Darami, in Bayhaqi, or in so and so other book, then you must laugh loudly and say, I asked him for a hadith, God knows where he got this hadith from. I want a hadith from Bukhari or Muslim. I only accept that hadith which is Sahih, and I only accept that hadith which is in Bukhari and Muslim. If it's not in Bukhari, if it's not in Muslim, I don't accept it. I don't agree with it. And in that way, again, you've won the argument. If he was to bring any hadith, number 4, if he was to bring any hadith from Sahih Sitta, or even from Bukhari or Muslim, then you have to ask for a particular word. No, this word is this. I want that word. This is the word I'm looking for. And that's not there. So, when he doesn't provide that exact word which you need, and you scream loud as you can, you won the argument. That look, I asked him for this word, and he couldn't provide it from Bukhari nor from Muslim, and that is it. And number 5, if he were to bring that word to you, and say that look, this word is in Sahih Sitta, then you have to scream loudly, Za'if, 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 Za'if. Even if you have never heard of that hadith, just scream, Za'if, 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 Za'if. And in that way, you will have won the argument. And number 6, the final number he used to teach us was that those young men who don't pray namaz, don't go out to them and invite them to pray namaz. However, those who start praying their namaz, go to them, talk to them, and tell them that look, your namaz is wrong, your salah is wrong. This is not the way to pray salah, and your aqidah is wrong, your salah is wrong. This is how you should be doing, and this is how you should be behaving, and bring them over. So he says, we used to do that. He says that my father was a very pious person. He used to fast, he used to pray tahajjud salah, he was very punctual of his namaz, he was a very good worshipper. So I would come home and I would argue with my father that, Father, your namaz is not correct, your tahajjud is not accepted, your deen is something else, your namaz is something else. Our namaz is Madani namaz, and your namaz is Hanfi namaz. Our namaz was sent down in Makkah and Medina, and your namaz came from Kufa, from Abu Hanifa. And my father would say, Jagda nahi kiya karte, aisi baatein mat karo, don't say these types of things, you shouldn't fight. And I would say to him, I would feel that this is my win, and I have won the argument with my father. And this is how I used to pester even my parents as well. Hazrat Maulana says that these are the 6 points which were taught to us by our teacher in our madrasa. The first one, go over it again. When you meet a Hanafi, ask him for a dalil, for a mas'ala. He can't provide it, you can scream loudly, he couldn't give a dalil. Second one, if he asks you for a dalil, then you must say, where does it say you can't do this, you can't wear this, you can't eat this, you can't behave like this. And number 3, if he does bring a dalil, then tell him, oh, which kitab did you get this from? I only want dalil from Bukhari, Muslim, or maybe from Sahih Sitta. If he brings something from there, you should ask for a special wording. Where is this word? And if he brings that word, you should say, oh, it's Zaif, 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 Zaif. And in all cases, you always win the argument. And finally, you should not interrupt those who are not praying salah and who are out on the street. You should interrupt those who go to the masjid talk to them and win them over and turn them into our mazhab. This is how they used to work in the area. And Maulana then goes on to say how he changed. He says, it's a very lengthy discussion. Some ulama had come for Khatm Nabuwwat conference, and his teacher gave him a poster on which there were 11 masail, and Dalil was asked for those 11 masail, and he was told that if you bring the Dalil for this, you will be given 5,000 rupees inam. When there is Dalil, when the questions are put before the alim Nauman Abdur Qadir Sahab, he smiles and then he frowns and then he says, there is some trickery in these questions. They are making a claim and asking the dalil from us. If you make a claim, you are supposed to give a dalil. Why ask us for a dalil? Otherwise, everybody will go around doing that. The Shias, they claim that Ashhadu anna Aliyan Waliyullah should be said in the azan. And they say after Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, they say Ashhadu anna Aliyan Waliyullah. And when we talk to them, they ask us for a dalil. Give me a dalil that you can't say Ashhadu anna Aliyan Waliyullah. So why should we give them dalil? They say, give me a dalil, a hadith in which Rasulullah said, don't say Ashhadu anna Aliyan Waliyullah in your azan. When he has not said it, we can say it. So this is how the argument works. Similarly, Maulana Sahab said that people say that you have to read Fatiha behind Imam, and when we ask them, give us some clear-cut dalil, they say, you tell us where it says you can't read. When we give them that dalil, they bring ta'wil in that dalil, oh this is for that. When we give them the dalil, وَإِذَا قُرِيَ الْقُرْآنِ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. They make ta'wil in there and they say, oh this is for the kuffar. And the kuffar were told to listen to the Quran properly so that they can be shown mercy and guided upon the straight path. So they ask for dalil, whereas they should be providing the dalil, not asking us for dalil. Maulana Sahab said that sometimes they ask for special dalil, and this special dalil, asking for a special dalil, is the habit of the mushrikeen of Makkah. They used to ask the Prophet ﷺ for specific dalail, specific mu'jizat. You do this for us, Muhammad, and then we will believe you. Do this and do this. Similar case with the other previous nations as well. They would demand a dalail from their prophets. And when the Prophet would say, Hal kuntu illa bashara rasula, they would refuse to believe. So you can't ask for a special dalil. If any court you go to in the world, and the mudda'i is asked for a dalil, he provides a dalil. So if the other person says, no, I don't accept that dalil, I want dalil from so-and-so person. So the witness was Zayd. So he has a right to say that Zayd is not reliable. But if Zayd is reliable and he says that I don't accept Zayd as a witness against me, I want Abdullah or Abdur Rahman to become a witness against me. So he has no right to say that. He can't ask for a specific, special dalil. So similarly, in the cases of Dini Masail as well, you can't say, I want exactly this word and I want exactly that. This is, in other words, telling the Prophet ﷺ that why did you not say this? You should have said this. And these are the words we want to hear from your lips. So this type of demand we are not allowed to make, and we should be careful with regards to this. Hazrat Maulana explained this in great detail, and this young boy who was still a student of hadith understood what Hazrat Maulana was trying to say. And Hazrat Maulana says that I asked Maulana Abdul Qadir Sahab, can you write some questions for me so I can ask my teacher as well? And he said, I don't like this trickery and behaving in this manner. I insisted, and he said, okay, just I'll just give you one question. Tell your ustad that in this poster which you have sent, you have asked for a dalil, and that dalil should only be a hadith, sahih, sarih, marfu', ghair majruh, that you only accept in dalil nothing but a hadith which is sahih, which has all the condition of sihat in there, which is sarih, meaning explicit, clear, and only that wording which you want is in there. Marfu', meaning it goes back direct to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Ghair majruh, meaning there is no jarh in there and no possibility of argument in there. You want that type of hadith? Okay, that's what you have demanded in this poster. So, now give me a dalil from hadith, and such a hadith which is sahih, sarih, marfu, ghair majruh, that you should only accept such a hadith as dalil which is sahih, sarih, marfu, ghair majruh. Don't accept any other dalil. Has the Prophet ﷺ ever said this? That only accept these type of hadith as your dalil and don't accept anything as your dalil? If you bring me such hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said this, I will give you not 5,000, I will give you 50,000 rupees as inam. And Maulana not only put the claim, he also signed that underneath it. My teacher never even signed underneath it. So I took that poster back, and my ustad, when he was waiting for me outside, when he saw me, he was really chuffed and happy. Ha, you have put them down, haven't you? And I said, no, Ustad ji, I had a problem ho gaya. Unlike the other places, when you go around the town with the other Maulvis, this Maulvi was something special. And he, he not only gave an answer to the question, he put a question forward himself, and he mentioned a reward of 50,000 and even signed it. So you give me this hadith sahih, sarih, marfu, ghair majruh, which says that you should only accept such a hadith as dalil and nothing else. So if you give me this, I can go and collect the 50,000 rupees reward. And he just shouted at me and sat down. So next day, he told me not to go to the Idgah, to that Maulana Abdul Qadir Sahib. However, I went after Asr in my free time, and I sat with him and told Maulana Sahib that, Maulana Sahib, your question was right, and the way you explained it was really nice. You shouldn't ask for such dalail. You have to understand. You have to take the Shariat in full context, the way you explained. And Maulana Sahib had said one thing when he came with the questions. Maulana Abdul Qadir Sahib had told him that, beta, first of all, make your intention correct. If your intention is correct in asking a question, then you will get reward for asking a good question, and you will get reward for practicing upon the answer which is given. But if your intention is not correct, and you have come here to tease me, then you will be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for asking that teasing question, and then for the practice of insulting and abusing and teasing an alim. So if your intention is correct, I will speak to you. And I said, Hazrat, my intention is correct. I want to learn. If I find the truth, I will accept it. And then Hazrat explained to me. So he says, I went again next day to Hazrat. And Hazrat told me to, he had a copy of I'La Sunan with me, and he said, take this. There are many dalail in there. I brought it. I kept it in my room, and I used to read from it. Now I realize that, the Ahnaf madhab is not based on just their own rai and qiyas. They have ahadith, plenty of ahadith. Their books are filled with ahadith. In I'La Sunan, there are ahadith as dalail and proof for the whole madhab. So, Maulana Sahib, he says that next day, what I did was, I wrote in real nice handwritings this hadith of Asfiru bil Fajr, فَإِنَّهُ أَعْظَمُ لِلْأَجْرِ. And I stuck that piece of paper onto the wall of the masjid. Which means that pray your Fajr in bright light, because this will increase reward of your Fajr Salah. Now this was against my Ustad's belief that Salah should be performed in darkness. So this went against his opinion. So he was angry, furious, and he said, who put this hadith over here? Take it off immediately. So Maulana Amin Sahib says, I realized that, these people don't have love for hadith. If he had love for hadith, he would not have it taken off. So next day, I wrote another hadith, أَبْرِدُوا بِالظُّهْرِ فَإِنَّ شِدَّةَ الْحَرِّ مِنْ فَيْعِ جَهَنَّمِ. Pray Zuhr Salah in Tandak, in cool time when the heat cools down. Because intensity of heat is from the heat of Jahannam. So their madhab was you pray Zuhr Salah immediately as soon as Zawal takes place and in the intensity of that heat. But this hadith was saying let the heat cool down. So in the hot climate, hot countries, the heat has cooled down. People can come for Zuhr Salah in a shade and in a relaxing manner and perform Zuhr Salah while they are relaxed and then return home. So next day I wrote another hadith. Faqihun wahid ashaddu ala shaytan min alfi abid. One faqih and jurist is more burdensome upon shaitan than 1,000 worshippers. And every time the teacher is getting angry and angry. So Maulana says, I realize that these people don't love hadith, they hate hadith. Otherwise they would have accepted these hadiths that they are also hadith. Maulana Sahib says, I went to Maulana Abdul Qadir Sahib the other day and he asked me that what do you say about taqleed shakhsi, following one mazhab and taqleed. I said, Hazrat, I believe it's shirk. So Hazrat Maulana Abdul Qadir Sahib said, if it is shirk, then all those muhaddithin who are mentioned in tabaqat Hanafiyya, tabaqat Malikiyya, tabaqat Shafi'iyya, tabaqat Hanabila were all mushriks. I said, of course. Then he said, okay, then among the authors of Sihaya Sitta, there will be mushriks as well. Nasa'i was Shafi'i, Ibn Majah was Shafi'i, Abu Dawud was Hanbali, Tirmizi was inclined to mazhab of Shafi'i, Muslim was also inclined to mazhab of Shafi'i. So they will all become mushriks. You read Bulughul Maram, and Bulughul Maram is written by Hafiz ibn Hajar, who was a staunch Shafi'i, so he will be a mushrik as well. So are you ready to say all these are mushriks? I said, no Hazrat, we can't say that. He said, I came back and I put this question forward to Ustad, and Ustad was really angry with me. Next day he said, it was time for lesson and I did not bring my Nasa'i Sharif in the class. So Ustad asked me, why have you not brought your Nasa'i? And I said, that's written by a mushrik, so why should I read a mushrik's book? So Ustad kept quiet. And then Ustad was going into this discussion about Qiraat Khalf al-Imam. Imam Nasa'i rahmatullahi alayhi has written a chapter, Babu Qawlillahi Ta'ala wa idha quriya al-Qur'an fastami'u lahu wa ansitu la'allakum turhamun. And in that chapter he has put the hadith, wa idha qara'a fa ansitu. When Imam recites, then keep quiet. So my Ustad said to me that this hadith, وَإِذَا قَرِيَ فَأَنْصِتُوا, if you look at the chain, there is a Rawi in there called Abu Khalid al-Ahmar. And Abu Khalid Ahmar is munfarid, he is alone in narrating that hadith. And there is no other mutabi' or any follower of him in narrating that hadith. I have asked this question to the Hanfis of Dewan since 20 years. I wrote to Allama Kashmiri to give me a mutabi', but he could not provide one for me, and so he started bragging. And then he looked at me and he said, oh Hanfi, what do you say? Now I had not yet become a Hanfi, but he said, what do you say, oh Hanfi? And because I had done my mutala and studied before coming to the lesson, I said to the teacher that there is a mutabi' there, a follower who has also narrated this hadith along with Abu Khalid, and his name is Muhammad ibn Sa'ad al-Ansari, and he is in the same kitab which you are teaching. And I went and I placed my finger on where his name was, Muhammad ibn Sa'ad al-Ansari. Now what happened? The Ustad got up and he started beating me up and he kicked me out of the madrasa. So it is then that I realized the reality of the matters, and I understood that Hanafis are followers of hadith. They also believe in hadith. However, the words Maulana uses over here is that ghair muqallidiyat had not gone out of my mind completely. He says, even though I had accepted the Hanafi mazhab, but still, whenever some fiqhi masla used to come into mind, I would start to look for a hadith, that where is it in the hadith that you should do this. And I would start searching for it. It took me a few months for my mind to be changed. And now, whenever a question, whenever I would recite an ayat or a hadith, then I would ask the question that the meaning that is coming into my mind, does it confirm with the rules of the Sharia or not? Is it something like which Mirza Qadiani or some of the others used to make their own meanings of the Quran and Hadith, or is it according to the meaning explained by our Salafis Shaykh? So in this way, slowly, this effect, was erased from my mind, that when you hear a masla, you shouldn't go around searching for hadith, whether it's in the hadith or not. You should try and understand that the ahadith and ayat, are they in confirmation with this? The meanings which have been explained by our Salafis Salihin, do they confirm this masla or not? If they confirm, yes, we accept it. If not, and it's my own made up, and my mind is searching for something, my mind is making something up, then I should refrain from accepting it. And slowly, alhamdulillah, I set my feet firm on the Hanafi Maslak, and I am proud to be a Hanafi and follower of Hanafi Mazhab, alhamdulillah. This is a brief translation or a little bit of what Hazrat Maulana has mentioned, and in that he has mentioned the 6 points of the Salafis, how they work and how they go around. This may be with regards to the area of Pakistan where Maulana is from, and the Salafis of other areas might be a little bit different. However, we would humbly request them to ponder really carefully and think about their approach to the Quran, to the Hadith, and understand the Quran and the Hadith within the framework. Don't just go around looking for the wordings everywhere, that where is exactly this word, where is this word, and that cannot happen. You have to look at the Shariat in whole context, and our Aimma, they, alhamdulillah, they had the ability to do that. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad, they did a very hard work and detailed, thorough study for us, and they put the usul before us, that look, Imam Abu Hanifa said, look for the masail in Quran, and then if you can't find it in the Quran, look for it in the Hadith. If you can't find it in the Hadith, look for the ijma' and the aqwal of Sahaba, and do not go out of the verdicts and the aqwal of Sahaba. And if you can't find it in all three tools, then use your logic and analyze that mas'ala according to the view and in line with the view of Quran and Hadith, and don't go out of there. Qiyas, analogy, is only to bring out the order from Quran and Hadith. That is why we say Qiyas is only muzhir, not muthbit. Qiyas brings into the open a ruling which was already set, and it does not prove a mas'ala. That Qiyas cannot prove the mas'ala itself. It will be already proven by Quran and Hadith. Qiyas will only bring it out and put it before the people, that this is the mansha, and this is the wisdom, and this is the manner in which this mas'ala should be understood. May Allah Pak give us a tawfiq to